want to welcome everybody to another episode of Financial Fitness. We are live in studio with my good friend and jiu-jitsu training partner over here, Mr. Josh Mancuso. He is owner of JM Modern Jiu-Jitsu. And if anybody in the know in Louisiana has seen jiu-jitsu or wants to get involved, they have one of the top academies in the entire South region, and it's absolutely amazing. I put my son in there a couple of years ago, and what he's learned at 8 years old, if he was about 20 pounds bigger, I think he could take his old man. So it's been amazing to see the progress and the things that he's learning at a very young age, and not just for the kids but also the adults there. I mean, they have classes that are almost at capacity. So it's awesome to have a friend that's doing very well during 2020 with the pandemic. Yeah. Owning a gym during 2020, I'm sure that was a little stressful.
Yeah, definitely. Some of the worst days and best days now. So
yeah.
Wow.
So I wanted to bring Josh on air. You guys who have listened to our show, who know about our show, it's Financial Fitness. We're about health and wealth and enriching our clients, our listeners, with knowledge from superstars, whether they're business superstars, sports superstars, and people in the industry who've done both, like my friend Josh here. These people have taken their sports career and turned it into a lucrative business, even during the pandemic. And so I want to give Josh an opportunity to tell us about his journey, what's made JM the huge success that it is here in town. Just in a short period of time. You guys have been open for about, 5 years now?
Yeah, we opened 2016.
Yeah, that's what I recall. So, like people say, my overnight success took so many years.
Yeah.
And so tell us just a bit about yourself, your journey in jiu-jitsu, and then I want to hear more about the gym, of course.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so so I started training jiu-jitsu back in 2006. I wish I had like a really cool story to say, but really I was just looking for a hobby. I was bored and just unmotivated, and I hadn't actually never really done any sports before, so I was really just at a loss for what to do. And I saw The Ultimate Fighter the first season, and it was something about the grappling that they were doing, and they kept talking about jiu-jitsu, and I had never heard of it before. And I'd heard of UFC before, but I never really watched it.
Yeah.
And then so when I started seeing the grappling aspect or the jiu-jitsu aspect of it, I got interested in it. I did some Googling, and luckily there was had just formed a great MMA academy local to Baton Rouge called Gladiators Academy. And I walked in the doors and trained with some of the best guys that Louisiana ever produced. And so that's how I got started. And it was great. And I was there for years and years. And, then we moved on to multiple locations, and with that gym, and then these guys went there, and then I wound up teaching jiu-jitsu at different places just throughout the years. And when it finally just started getting to the point where I was teaching for everybody else, and it just started growing, and I'd never seen it do that before, and I just put in the time to cultivate these students, and I just decided to reach out on my own. And when I did that, it really, hit the first stage of explosion, because I was able to be free and do it the way that I wanted to do it.
Right. And what was unique about the JM principles of jiu-jitsu? What made you decide to start your own gym? Because obviously, like you said, you had success as a coach and as a trainer with that. What compelled you to start it as a business?
Honestly, I just always like to move forward and evolve, and I get kind of bored, and I think I was at a point where teaching for other people, I never really started a gym with the attitude of I was going to make a bunch of money. It was more like I just wanted to train and do it my way, and I didn't have to answer to anybody. And so I did that, and with those intentions, I said, well, I'm going to do it the way that I've seen it done, because I've been all over the country and trained jiu-jitsu at some of the best places in the world, and it just was not being done that way in Louisiana. And the way we do our classes are very different from a lot of the other places in town, and a lot of the other places in the state, and a lot of the places I learned from, because when we opened JM, I really just sat back and looked at the processes of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, what people like, what they didn't like, and what was effective and what wasn't effective. And I actually pulled a lot of the basic stuff that people do at normal gyms, and we don't do that. Like, we don't really focus on warm-ups and things like that. We pretty much focus on the technique of the sport and just sparring and rolling and stuff like that. So another thing that separates us, I would say, is we are very, very anti-banners when it comes to political religious, anything like that. We keep that out of the gym. Everybody seems to really get along, and I think that that's a big part of it, is that we don't get in everybody's business.
I love that. Some of our listeners will probably appreciate that. I'm big on our show. We don't do politics here. We don't do divisive topics because there's so much of that toxic, negative news on the TV all day, every day.
Right.
And the last thing I want to know from my jiu-jitsu instructor is who he voted for in the election. I don't care.
I don't matter. My opinion doesn't matter on that.
Show me how to get out of this attack, and show me how to get out of this chokehold, because I'm getting my butt kicked over there a lot. So
well, it's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be fun, and it's really not. It's only fun in that situation if you agree with the person who's preaching.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just not going to appeal to everyone, and so I stick to what I'm good at, and my staff does the same.
Yeah.
And we do really good.
You have an awesome group of trainers.
Oh my God, my staff is incredible.
The instructors are top notch.
So lucky.
all high level black belts, and my son. I got to give a shout out to Asher out there. Asher is learning from a true Brazilian 3rd degree black belt. Coach Eric has just done wonders with Asher, and the things he's learned at a young age is phenomenal. That kid, like I said, knows 10 times what I know. I'm just catching up now because I gotta get in there so he doesn't take over as the alpha in the household soon. So.
Oh man, that's a time clock on that one. It's coming. I got to deal with. I always mess with Ashley, my wife. We have a little one, and she is coming up, and she's good too. Well, Charlie.
Oh my God!
And man, we always mess with her because when she gets about 16, I think Ashley's in trouble, and Ashley's not liking that.
Oh, for sure. They're gonna pass us all up. They are because they're learning. Like I always say, I teach my kids to be better than me, and I put Asher at your school because it was the best in town. I was recommended from a friend of mine that actually was in the UFC for several years. A good friend of mine, Kyle Bradley, told me if he was putting his kids somewhere, that's where he would go. Mm-hmm. And I put Asher in there a couple years ago, and he has learned so much, and it's awesome to see the growth and see what he can do. And I'm not good on the ground. I boxed through college. I boxed in high school, so I'm a turtle on my back in there right now. And so I put Asher in that because I want him to learn the things that Daddy can't teach, and learn from the best. And he's definitely learned from the best there. Now, when did you realize you had a real gift? And I didn't realize you started that late. That's something I didn't know, that you were not in this from a young age, and yet you've excelled to a high-level black belt and have opened, like I said, one of the best gyms in the country. When did you realize you had a gift, or you had something special that you could bring to others?
I don't know if I ever really realized that I was special. I think lately I kind of am starting to see that, but mainly because of Ashley. Like before her, I thought that mainly my main gift was that I was consistent. I'm always consistent. I stay doing the job constantly, and by doing that, no one else really has that staying power, at least around here.
Yeah.
They fall off, and that's what's kind of separated me and allowed me to ascend, is because I'm on jiu-jitsu. I am pushing the envelope of jiu-jitsu constantly.
Yeah.
And that's what's led me to have good success, and then having someone by my side who's just told me, like, believe in yourself constantly, trust your gut, go for it. And since that's been next to me, that's when I was like, okay, I'm good at this. I'm good at making decisions, and it's worked out really well.
And you said something, we always touch on business and success here, consistency. Yeah, that's a key, and I find that's why I love having athletes on here on a finance and a business show, because consistency is the key to being good in sports, being good in your career.
Everything.
And then you also, like you said, having the right woman in your corner. And I'd like to have her in my corner in a bar fight too, because
she's about it.
I've had to roll against her in class before, and like I told you, I was like, my shoulders were not right for about a week after the stuff she did to my arms and stuff. So it's great that you've got those similar interests with her. Because when you guys can be a 1-2 punch like that and work the business together, and enjoy it. I mean, that's why I see you guys excelling beyond a lot of the other gyms, and you can see the smile. If you you guys on the radio can't see it, but you light up when you talk about the gym. So we're going to take a short commercial break, and we come back, we're going to continue talking with my good friend Josh Mancuso with JM Modern Jiu-Jitsu. This is Intelligent Mortgage and Financial Fitness signing off. Welcome back to Financial Fitness. We're live in studio with my good friend Josh Mancuso, owner of JM Modern Jiu-Jitsu, the top gym in town for jiu-jitsu training, children to adults of all ages. They've got kids classes as young as, how young now, 4 or 5?
We originally only went to 6 when I was teaching, and then because that's all I could handle. You know what I mean? I'm not the child whisperer like Eric is. But now since Eric's moved in, we've been doing 3 to 5 year olds for I think almost 2 years now, and it's been an amazing class. But it's very limited on the number of people number of kids we let in there. It's just
to be a little mature at that age.
Yeah, and well, he's good at dealing with it, but yeah, there is some level that'll be required.
Yeah. But amazing, like I said, what I've seen from my son, it's fantastic, and I personally wish that I would have learned the ground game at a young age.
It's a lot of fun.
And in my opinion, that's where you need to start. And your thoughts on that? If you were putting your kid into a martial art and you're considering as a parent martial arts or anything, what's your take on that?
I mean, it's real easy for me. Of course, I'm probably going to sound biased, but I would put my kid in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu mainly for a number of reasons. One, for the pure humbling aspect of it, but also from a combat aspect, I would say that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu mimics combat as close as you possibly can without actually being punched.
Yes.
So what this does is it teaches kids, people, adults, whatever, to think under pressure and to be calm-minded under very stressful situations. You know what I mean? So like when I'm grappling someone, I can really focus and make decisions even though things are happening in a very hectic fashion. And so these kids can do that. And so to me, that coupled with the confidence of grappling and the superpower that it is, when you grapple for a couple of years, then you grapple someone who doesn't, it's a joke. It's a joke. I'm not scared of anybody. I don't care if they're boxers or anything. I don't care. I would fight Floyd Mayweather tomorrow if I had the opportunity. I would totally win. I would beat him easily. It would be a piece of cake. Most boxers, it would be very easy for me to beat them in a fight. It's just not. It's just not hard.
Josh, I'm sorry, Brandon. Josh, I have a question. So
Yes,
you're
sir.
talking about Brazilian style.
Yes, sir.
And when I started watching mixed martial arts, it was a lot of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Hoist Gracie,
Yes.
the Gracie family, a lot of just like grappling holds, and like I feel like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is more like it's about patience as well, because when you lock somebody
Sure.
up, you have to have the mental capability to stay with that and
Yes.
and keep that guy, just wear him down with that hold.
Absolutely. And you know what's strange is it really applies to all martial arts. It's really about patience. It's not about being fast. It's not about being any of these things flashy. It's about being calm-minded and being able to execute your technique at a good, moderate speed, but do it smoothly and under pressure. And usually that's the guy who's the most calm is the guy who's going to come out on top. And it's really like that could be with jiu-jitsu, that could be with boxing, it could be with anything. But I agree with you saying that patience is the most important thing.
Yeah. Sorry, Brandon, didn't mean to.
No, it's okay.
I just had a question. You said
Jump in anytime.
But I'm very, very confident in the skills and the attributes that a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu athlete gets. Mainly those things that I mentioned. But the main thing is I am never going to put my child in a place where they're going to get punched in the head. It's just not something that I feel comfortable doing as a parent. I think it's not their brain power and their ability to think and make decisions, especially at a young age, but even up into an adult. Like I just know so many fighters over the course of my life. Yeah, they're very good people, and they have a hard time making a living. They have a hard time doing things because they have received a lot of brain damage over the years. And going back, they would take all that stuff back because it really wasn't worth it. Because your brain is your brain, you know. And so for me, I would never put my kid in any type of boxing program or anything where they're going to get struck in the head. To me, I don't even see why. I think football is just mainly popular because it's a cultural thing. To be honest, the amount of head injuries that go on in football, it's insane that we let kids smash each other in the head like that, you know. But we do, and I'm not. I don't have like a fight against football. I'm just saying that I think we really should focus on the well-being of the children.
Yeah. No, I think it's ironic you mentioned their health, well-being in a martial art training, but that's a good point. You don't get the head trauma and the brain damage, the concussions in jiu-jitsu that you would in a boxing or anything else.
It's about as safe as you can possibly get. There's not many more sports that are safe. I would put it right up there with dancing.
Yeah, but it prepares you if and when you need to defend yourself against a bigger, stronger guy.
Well, they're doing that every single day,
and you're always training with high level. Every class I've been to there, I'm always paired up because you guys make a very conscious effort to not put two beginners in there with each other. Instead, it's always the advanced level guys partnered up that you're actually rolling against. So as a white belt, I'm getting murdered on a daily basis.
And there's times that you come in and test yourself against the other ones too. They have different sessions, but that's one thing we really like about that Monday night class. It's so big that we're able to let these upper belts kind of or the more senior students kind of work with the lower students. And it works out really good.
So much.
It's a lot of one-on-one even there with all the black belts that we have overseeing everything.
Yeah, the number of black belts you have at the gym is phenomenal.
Yeah, it's awesome. I'm super proud of that.
So,
that's like one of the most proud things ever.
Yeah, if you guys want to check out the website, you want to plug the website?
Yeah, it's just jmmodernjj.com, and that has all our information and stuff on it.
Yeah, you see the black belts right there on the front page. And
I got a few I need to add on there.
Yes, I noticed. Shout out to Brian Jubin over there.
Yeah.
My attorney, a good friend of mine. I didn't even realize he's not only a badass attorney, but if you don't pay up, he's coming to collect.
Oh yeah, he's one of my toughest black belts. He's serious, man. He's like Captain America.
I've done his 6 a.m. class, and there's nothing worse than waking up. Like you probably wake up cricking and cracking.
No, that's hard for me, man. The 6 a.m. crew is not for me. It's a different breed.
My joints aren't working until about noon, and so to go in there at 6 a.m. and get in there with Brian and those guys is it's you're wide awake after that.
Oh, some of those guys say like they have to have it to get going now.
Yeah, you are wide awake when you leave that class. So, one thing you mentioned and we touched on was consistency. And like I said, that's huge for business. And I want to get back to that because you've turned this into one of the most successful. What does your work week look like? What's your schedule look like as a gym owner?
Great question. So it's changed a lot over the years. So it used to be when I first opened the gym, I was actually working for a equipment rental company, renting like generators and air compressors, stuff like that. So I was doing outside sales and opening the gym, doing the floors, doing all the work, the marketing, the website building, the paperwork, everything. And so I burned that candle at both ends for a really long time, and then finally left the equipment rental business when the gym was getting up pretty good. We had just moved into a location. So during that time, I was still working at the gym, but now, to be honest, I worked very hard to get where I'm at this point, but now my week is kind of like I do whatever I want, whenever I want. And I don't really answer to anybody, and I just live life by the seat of my pants these days. So if I wake up, but typically I train jiu-jitsu every single day.
Yeah, I'm jealous. I haven't got my business there.
Yeah. Well, to be honest with you, the gym...
You have the right people.
Well, no, I have to be honest. I'm pretty lucky.
Yeah.
And I didn't reach all the success from the gym. The gym does great, but I was lucky to make some great investments this year and learn a lot about like different stocks, different cryptocurrencies, and things like that. And now that has been a better way of making passive income than having the business. But the principles that I learned in business were what I applied to my investing strategies. And now with the investing strategies that I've been doing, I also am very patient and very consistent. And so by doing these, they paid off very well so far.
So that kind of little tangent, which is perfect. No, it's perfect because one thing we talk about is finance and business. Mm-hmm. And so you mentioned trading stocks, something a lot of people probably don't. I knew that about you, but most of our audience and probably a lot of people at the gym wouldn't know. What would be your tip of the week as a trader, as an investor that's paid dividends for you if you were going to give somebody investment advice there?
Get started immediately. Don't wait till you come into a bunch of money to do it. I mean, honestly, right now, people are going to be dropping $1,400 stimulus checks in your bank. If you want wealth, you have to start immediately. You cannot just think about it and it's a good idea. And that's really the main thing that happens is people just don't take that initial step. Mm-hmm. And then once you do, if you can take that step, just buy simple investments. I could give a list out and stuff like that. But if you go to my Instagram, I talk about this stuff a little bit here and there.
Yeah.
And so it's just stay consistently investing no matter what the market does. One thing that people mess up with all this is that they look at the daily results, the reds and the greens, the downs and the ups, and they see themselves losing or making money, and then they'll bring themselves to make harsh decisions.
Yeah, you go crazy if you watch it every day. You can't look at it every day.
So what I tell everybody is, if you have a situation like this and you have stocks and you had a business, you wouldn't decide if you were going to open or close that business every day based on that one day's performance.
Right.
So it's again just backing out and looking at the whole picture and being patient.
Absolutely. So didn't know you guys were going to get stock advice today, but like I said, we always want to talk what's going to make you guys money and make you more successful here on our show. After the break, we're going to do some calls, so we invite our listeners to call in 225-343-2424. Again, listeners, call in 225-343-2424. You can get on live to ask Josh anything you would like, or me. And we're going to take a short commercial break and come back with Financial Fitness and Josh Mancuso at JM Modern Jiu-Jitsu. Welcome back to Financial Fitness on Talk 107.3, the new flavor of talk radio. Speaking of flavors, we got Celevate, our sponsor, new energy drink that a good friend of mine, Mr. Steve Colson, had turned me on to. They have created something amazing, and got you something to try out there, Josh. These are sugar-free, a lot less stimulant-based, and he was on me about cutting my Red Bull usage down. I'm a notorious Red Bull drinker, and I've switched now over to Celevate because it actually has a lot more nutritional value and vitamins in it. So shout out to those guys again for keeping me awake, keeping me alert through the show. And we're back live in studio. Want to welcome our listeners to call in. If you guys have questions, want to speak with Josh, ask anything at all while we're on the air, we'd love to have some of our listeners call in. Could be business, could be jiu-jitsu related. And we're going to go into just some different things that I'm curious to know, and I'm sure our listeners would be curious. And you know, what of the sport or the business was the most challenging to you?
Dealing with people.
Yeah.
Dealing with lots and lots of different people, different personalities, and being a coach in a sport where people pay money to attend is very different than being a coach to a sport where people are forced to be there, like at a wrestling team or a football team versus like when someone's paying you. So it's very different. It's a very fine line that you have to find, that I've definitely messed up on like numerous thousands of times, you know what I mean? But hopefully I'm growing and getting better from it. But that is definitely the most challenging part of it all, for sure.
Well, your business is growing by leaps and bounds, so you're doing something right.
Yeah.
What would be one thing with your business you wish you had known before you opened it?
Oh man, just that it was going to work out. You know, like, because you never know. You know, when everybody starts a business, especially one like mine, it's just, originally we started just to have a cool team and go to a lot of tournaments, you know what I mean? And like, it's just, it's just grown so much bigger than that. It's insane. You know, now I'm able to give a life to like my friends and my employees, and it's been really good, you know. I take care of, really, I like to think I take good real care of them. And they take real good care of me.
I mean, I've noticed the same guys are still on the staff for years now.
Well, luckily I have Eric there, and it's almost weird. Normally when you bring someone in, especially someone good, you know, people have ego bumps and things don't always work out, and more than not, it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
But me and Eric really work well together, and we're, you know, very good friends, and I do anything for him, and I genuinely just trust him, and so with that, it gives us a lot to work with.
Trust is huge in business when you're talking money, and I always say a business relationship is a marriage without the looks, the physical, the love, or anything else. So there's got to be a high level of trust.
Yes, absolutely.
If you're a business partner with somebody.
Well, and I think that you get that by doing right by that person when they're not looking.
Yeah.
You know. And I think that by doing that, I have a ton of people who do that for me.
That's good. Reminds me of one of my favorite quotes: "Character is what you do when no one's looking."
Yeah,
so
clearly.
You got a good character, and your people appreciate that. So that speaks volumes about you and how you run your business, and I think why so many people are attracted to come train at the gym too.
It's working out really well right now.
Yeah. So you had a good training session today too.
Yeah. Yeah. I just always need to push myself, and with that consistency also is complacency. And while my gym is awesome, like I have everything someone would need to be a world champion at my gym, but also at the same time, you need to always be pushing yourself. You need to always be getting out of your comfort zone. And I'm so blessed to have Dustin Poirier as a friend, and he's over there in Lafayette right now. And for those who don't know, he's a UFC fighter, very, very successful. I've known him for a really long time, and we've trained off and on through the years, a lot more in the earlier days. But he's a great black belt and a great mixed martial artist, and he came and trained with me about a year ago, and then I finally reached out to him and started getting my lazy butt up there. So I'm going to continue to go up there and train with him because it's just a great push for both of us. And when he's down here, he needs as much high level talent as he can get. You know.
No, I shout out to Dustin because you mentioned earlier Gladiators, and I hadn't laced up a glove in years, and then Gladiators opened, and that's when I got humbled. I thought I was pretty cool, pretty badass little amateur boxer. I thought I had some hands, and I went to Gladiators, and first I got thrown on the ground and realized that boxing meant nothing. At that point, like you said, you could handle any boxer so easily. So
as long as they can't wrestle.
Yeah, right. So I realized if you didn't knock somebody out with the first 2 punches, and they're a decent wrestler, a decent grappler, you're in for a world of trouble.
Oh yeah.
And
Dustin, that gym was not nice.
Stacked.
And they were it was brutal in those days. Like if you went to Gladiators Academy Baton Rouge, you better have your mouthpiece on, your head on right, because you're gonna get in a fight.
My wife laughs because she went to do cardio and she was just hitting the bags and stuff, and we would leave a lot, and she tells a story, and the kids laugh because she's like, Brandon had 2 black eyes, and she's like, well, what happened? What are you doing? And my nose, I said, that was either the day we did ground and pound, and I got paired up with Sean Jordan, which is painful. And he wasn't even hitting me. He's just that big.
Yes.
Like just his weight and just him being on top of me. And then the other, I was like, that was when Dustin was doing striking and teaching kickboxing and striking. And I got to get my ass kicked by some of the best in the world, which was...
That gym produced a lot of talent. A lot of UFC fighters have been out of that gym. I think... Tim Crater was the originator. You got to give that dude his respect. He's the pioneer in the man.
He was great. Rich Clemente
is the man. And when walking in there was just like walking with giants. You know, Kyle Bradley was like, I guess, Baton Rouge's first. And I mean, is he probably still the most successful MMA fighter that Baton Rouge Denham Springs has ever produced?
He's on my UFC video games.
Yeah, man. He's a legit pioneer of the martial arts in this town and this state. And just like Tim and Rich and Emmanuel Augustus and Frank James and all those guys back in those days. But it's weird how much it's changed, you know, because it used to be back in those days you go in and it was a fight club. You know, you typically had to watch who you trained with because you would get your issue, and you could really get hurt. And now it's like, finally we figured that out. That's not the way to do it.
You don't have to kill each other in practice.
No, you can still be friends.
I'm old now. You know, I come train, and so I can come to your gym at 40 and as a white belt. You know, I'm learning. And Ashford also loves to rub it in that he's a higher belt than me.
All the kids do.
He loves picking on me. Daddy, you don't even have a stripe yet on your belt. So he likes to put it on me a bit. But I get to come in there at 40 and train and really learn, again, from some of the best, just like when I was at Gladiators. But I'm not getting my face beat in.
Yeah, we're working along.
Yes.
We figured this out, how to cultivate talent at this point.
At 40... It hurts for longer.
Yes, it does. Well, I'm 30. I'll be 40 in April. So no, I know exactly what you mean. It's that's why we've broken up the curriculum differently, and we make sure. And we've honestly got so many people that started at post 50 years old. It's insane.
Yeah.
You know, but they're like, well, by the time I'm 60, I'll be a black belt. And when you're 50, 60 don't seem that far off anymore. You know,
Dude,
the years go by.
Quicker.
And honestly, we're so much better at teaching jiu-jitsu. I think the average black belt. We used to be 10 years, but you know, sometimes I think it's really shortening because we're just getting much more efficient at teaching the art.
Yeah. That's my goal. I told Asher, I said, Daddy's going to do a tournament with you, and I'm going to stick with it.
Yeah,
and
man.
so hopefully we'll have 2 black belts in the family in the next decade with Asher and Daddy. And then I love being able to be involved with him. You know, it's just a great bonding. He did his first tournament in Biloxi, and his big brother was there. And I love telling the story because his brother is the superstar athlete.
Right.
And so he's always, Mr. Quarterback.
Time to pass the crown.
And so he got to watch his little brother, and to see Landon amped up, and then Landon says, "Oh my God, I love all these parents. They're talking about who's that kid, and he's so awesome. Look at him, And Landon felt like a proud parent, like big brother. He was so proud to see him dominating his first tournament, and it's a great bonding experience. I think for the dads and the parents, dads, if you're looking to get back in shape, this will put you in shape, and also give you a way to bond with your kids. I'm finding it's a new bond for, not that Asher and I weren't incredibly tight, but
it's
this
a different
is a
type of language, man.
Whole nother bonding experience for he and I, and so it's just a great way to spend time together, and then you get to work with some world champions. I want to touch on that. We got a minute left before break. You've created some world champions out of your gym.
Yeah, just this year we brought home 7 world titles this year, so that was amazing. And we're really just picking up momentum now. So who knows what's coming next? Hopefully, I get one eventually.
Right? Yeah. No, you're due. You got enough titles though.
They're hard to come by, man. Yeah, I've done my share, but we're trying every day.
But the world champions at black belt are even harder to get.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
So we're going to close for a quick commercial break, and then we're going to come back with my good friend Josh Mancuso talking everything jiu-jitsu and business and investing. So thank you guys for tuning in to Financial Fitness on Talk 107.3, the new flavor of talk radio. Welcome back to Financial Fitness, brought to you by Intelligent Mortgage and JM Modern Jiu-Jitsu. Our guest in studio, Josh Mancuso. We're talking jiu-jitsu, we're talking business, and we're just talking life lessons. And we want to start our last segment here, given the opportunity to call in if anybody has any questions or would like to ask anything about the gym, training, or just anything fight related, or again, personal questions that they want to ask of you. Couple questions I've got for you while we're here. You've been around the best in the world and trained with some of the best out there. If you could pick 2 or 3 of the most influential people in your career journey, who would those people be?
Man, that's there's such a long list. I've been lucky to have some really good mentors. I would say that the first person that was probably the most influential in my life is actually a guy who sells used cars. His name's Dave Rapolo, and he has just been there for me when nobody else was, and just been an amazing role model and example for me throughout the years on the hustle and things like that, and to do it the right way without being a bad guy. You know what I mean? And so I really have a lot of respect for him, as well as I would say Tim Crater. With martial arts, I started with Tim. He taught me a lot of I looked up to him I still look up to him, but I really was looking up to him for a really long time in the terms of becoming a warrior and becoming a man. Like he taught me what it was to be willing to go out there and put it on the line. And then finally, I guess I would say my latest has been Elon Musk. Man, he's just such an inspiration to me, and I just love the direction he's heading with everything. And so that's my latest man crush.
There you go. I think we need Elon to run in 2024.
I don't think he can. He's not American. He's not American yet.
We got to change that rule.
I think he's an alien or something.
We got to change that rule.
Yeah, we'll let aliens run.
He is profound. I follow a lot of his.
An amazing engineer who's not scared. The thing that inspires me about him is just the way that he is willing to dive headfirst into new territory that he's unfamiliar with a goal, and he will not stop until he's accomplished that goal. And he's shown that with SpaceX, and he's shown that with Tesla, and all the amazing things that they've been able to accomplish in the last 10 years. Yeah.
So if you were, or you obviously you're pretty invested in Tesla, aren't you?
Very. Yeah, I would say about 70% of my net worth is Tesla.
Yeah.
Yeah, I drive their cars.
Getting a Cybertruck?
Oh, absolutely.
I'll put my deposit down.
Oh, yeah, I got a Cybertruck.
I'm on the list.
We have a Model 3 coming for Ashley tomorrow, actually.
Really?
Either tomorrow or the next day. It's being delivered. And I have a Model Y, so we're going to be completely gas-free
Yeah.
as of this week. So
Yeah.
even our lawnmower's electric now.
Yeah, Jen, we have an electric car, and we're looking at trade.
I like it.
We're looking at trading it in for another one. We were looking at the Porsche and the Tesla, the two.
Oh, we love
So the Tesla by far is the best all around for distance and everything. But
Yeah, we've done a lot of road trips in it and stuff. We like it.
Yeah.
It's just been a great car. The self-driving stuff is so cool. I drive the car barely ever. It does it for me. It's great.
Yeah, you can't beat it.
No, it's wonderful.
And they're fun. They're so fast.
Oh,
All the
they're
electric
incredibly
cars are
fast,
so
and
fun.
all the toys and stuff in it. It's. I used to be a car guy back in the day, and I just kind of like, I don't know, kind of moved on when I got into jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And but then now, with this thing, I'm totally back in love again.
Yeah. What's a funny story or question I didn't ask that you might have wanted me to ask if you were hosting this?
Oh,
or something
gosh.
you'd like to
Funny
put up
story. Oh man. Well, I don't know. I've got some old training stories. Jeez. On the spot now, I can't think of one. But I would say that it's gonna be pretty funny to see me this week at Slinging Iron CrossFit when I'm falling flat on my face because I just started CrossFit.
Yeah, I want to see you suck at something.
Well, go there.
Yeah.
Go there. Go there. It's great. I'm working with Justin King over there. He is
Monster.
just the man. You
Yes.
know, I mean, and not just in what he can do.
No.
You know, I mean, he's a workhorse and he's amazing as an athlete. But as a coach,
Brilliant.
oh my gosh, I've never had a coach like him. It's incredible, and I've only worked with him a few times so far. But just the way that guy can motivate you and also not push you to a point where you're going to hurt yourself, because that was a real concern with me when I was looking at CrossFit.
I saw a lot of CrossFit gyms, and I'd like to have Justin come on the show one day.
Yeah, you should.
That was a problem I had with CrossFit, is they had 40, 50, 60-year-old ladies going in there doing stuff they're not
Yes.
physically capable of doing and getting injured.
So what
early on.
Justin
And being
does-
being a gym rat and someone
Right.
who was big into training for a long time, that was where I didn't get into CrossFit for a while. And what Justin does, you said, is a much better approach.
Well,
to-
he won't even let you do the class. Once you start, you have to do 4 lessons with him.
Mm-hmm.
So once he sees your technique, your form, what he's going to substitute for you, where your athletic position is at, what needs to work, then he'll put you in there.
That's so
And
much better.
Oh, it's incredibly organized and well done. That guy is just got something really. He's way out in Walker, but I wouldn't expect that to last very long. He's got a good product, and I see it expanding quickly.
I'd love to see him, like your gym, just exploding.
Yeah, I mean, I live in Baton Rouge. I drive all the way to Walker
To go train with him.
to his gym specifically.
Yeah, that's awesome. So
He's got a
testament.
gravel parking lot, and I wash my car, and I have to go in there. And get, see,
hate
that's how much.
gravel roads.
That's how much I like that gym.
Yeah, I like my cars clean too. I'm gonna say that. I'll share a funny story, and you and I have laughed about this. It was my first week of coming to your gym,
Oh yeah.
and we laugh about because it was funny. Someone said it the other day. You remember that guy that showed up to competition class, his first class? Yeah, I was that guy, and
Yep.
it was really funny. I had gone to the Tuesday class, which was the slow roll,
Right, relaxed.
good pace, great beginner class, and then Asher had a Saturday class, and I said, well, I'm going to stay after, and I'm going to do the adult class. I didn't look at the details or the description of the Saturday adult class.
Always do that.
Yeah, so Saturday adult class is competition training, and competition training is exactly that. It's all high level, competitive. You and the best of the best are in there for at least an hour long, nonstop competition against one another. And I got in there,
brutal.
and my kids and my wife are watching, and your kids think daddy's the toughest guy they know,
Right, of
right? When
course.
you're a kid, your daddy was a tough guy. And in the first 5 minutes, I got choked out probably 15 times by a 6'4" purple belt. And we were doing, I think there were 6-minute rounds at the time.
Yeah, we're doing 10 sixes that day.
10 sixes. So anybody who's done any boxing, any training, go try to hit a bag or try to go 5 minutes, much less 6 minutes consistently, just hitting a punching bag.
10
And
minutes, 10 times in a row.
so we did 10 rounds, and I'll never forget the first 5 we did no gi.
Yep.
And then 5 with the gi.
Right.
And we had a few minute break in between to change clothes. And I always laugh because I remember you were like the third person that I got paired up to go against. And we're friends. And I'm like, all right, Josh, buddy, hey, I don't know what I'm doing. Will you show me something, and you had the eye of the tiger going, and I can't repeat exactly what you said, but it was basically, F that, we're here to roll.
It's time to
Come
go.
on, I got a competition
Buckle
next
up.
week. And you had this look in your eyes that I hadn't seen before because we've been friends so long. And it was just that moment of truth when I was like, all right, I know what I'm in for today.
But you did good though, man.
And I remember at that break when we had to change clothes, looking out the door, looking back at you guys, looking out the door, and it was that moment of truth, like, I need to go home, but I can't quit. and that was the one thing that I was like, I can't quit.
You did. That's it.
I gotta finish this class, and it was the most painful. I've never been beat up for that long, but it was a rewarding experience, and it was something like I laugh about it because we still laugh like, who's that guy that showed up to comp classes first? But ever since then I was hooked. I wanted to learn, I wanted to train, and really wanted to be a part of that because it showed me a new challenge, something that was so different than any other fight training I'd ever done.
Oh yeah. Well, another thing I think that people miss out on that's so cool about jiu-jitsu is the fact that it's a social outlet for people of our age. Because when people get to the 40s, their 50s, you typically don't gain more friends. You typically start to like shave them off. You know what I mean? And so it can be easy to get in a rut of not being social. And the cool thing about jiu-jitsu is you kind of get to be social without having to have a lot of small talk. But then, you kind of make friends in there too. You know what I mean?
A lot of cool guys, a lot of friends.
Right. Now I have a group that I travel with constantly, going to competitions, or we just hang out, or whatever. And, it's a good social outlet. And a lot of the older guys, some people don't even train. They just come in there to make fun of the young kids.
Yeah, no, that is a good point. You do have an awesome camaraderie there and a good group of people. We're winding down. Anything you want to add, and make sure to remind our listeners where they can find you guys, where you're located, and your website.
Yeah, so we're www.jmmodernjj.com, and you can find me at jmmodernjj on Instagram. I have a Facebook business page as well. The basic Google stuff, and that's how you can find us.
Okay. Well, perfect. Well, anybody looking to train jiu-jitsu, we got the best in the business right here in studio with us today. And again, man, I appreciate you coming on air with me.
Thanks for having me.
And it's been a wonderful night with all of you guys listening to Talk 107.3, the new flavor of talk radio. This is Financial Fitness. Thank you guys for making the intelligent choice, and we are signing off.